Flamingo, you're first. Congratulations. Oop, my halo's on. There we go. Hi, welcome. Get on in here. Happy Monday. Taizan, you're not first. Congratulations. I posted a picture of this guy already, but I thought it was a pretty good find. I'm going to show it off right at the start here because I think it's a pretty good find. Empanada. Hi, Empanada. Welcome in. Taizan wants a moist. Taizan wants a moisten right off the top. Don't even have a glass ready. Gotta get it going. Get it to go. Hi, Taizan. Moist. What was I saying? Good find. I was saying I had a good find. I found this wok. And you look at this and be like, wow, that wok is the wrong color, completely shiny. Yep, that's true. It's also got some discoloration on the bottom and a few little marks on the inside. It looks to me like somebody bought a wok, tried to use it as is, didn't work out, and they took it to the thrift store and dropped it off. Because this wok has not been seasoned at all. And cooking in it would probably result in some stickage. It's in great shape though. It's nice and sturdy. It got a good solid bamboo handle. I haven't done anything with it. It's still got the mark from the store on it. Well, we're not going to use that today because I have not taken the time to clean it up. But it looks like it's in absolutely great shape. Couldn't say no. Burley Earl, hi. Welcome in. I also picked up this, which is a very strange dish. I believe it's supposed to be for serving hors d'oeuvres. You'd like put a row of olives or nuts or shrimps or something, something little that would fit in a row like this. Or Toblerones. Hi, Spear. Welcome in. I don't know. This one was a little bit of a whim. Not sure if we're ever going to do anything with it. I also don't know where I'm going to put it. I was going to put it there with the other oblong-shaped dishes, but it's actually too long for the spot that the rest of them live in. So, one long hot dog. Something. Eventually, we'll probably use it to serve. I mean, I never thought I'd do anything with these guys, the ginkgo plates, but we've actually used those for service. So, at the moment, I don't know where it's going to live when it's not being used. It probably can slide in the corner or something. But I thought that one was neat. I want to show that one off. If I ever have guests over again, I can serve them hors d'oeuvres in that weird bowl. So, yes, hi, happy Monday. Welcome in. It is duck pizza. Because once again, I was rummaging around in the freezer. We're still trying to downsize the freezer. We're doing a good job. We've chipped some big holes in it where I'm able to shift things around. And I haven't added a ton new stuff, so we're looking good. Oh my. Well, it didn't pop up for me, so I think you're good. So the thing I unfroze today was one of these little. It's just a duck breast in a shrink wrap. They come frozen. This one I got fairly recently. I think I got this. I think I picked this up for Thanksgiving, and then I ended up not using it. We What did we do for Thanksgiving? I think did we do turkey poutine? I can't remember what we did for Thanksgiving now. Hi, Ravia. Welcome in. Um, I saw you say long hot dog. I didn't get censored for me. Um, there might be a setting on your end. Um, I got this because I thought, because doing a whole turkey breast is a lot for just me, for even for Thanksgiving. So I thought this might be a fun, like, little thing to do. But I ended up not using it. So I'm going to use it today. Um, I was poking around, and I think we are going to pre-cook it before I put it on the pizza because I want to render out the fat a little bit. So there will be some processing for this guy. So that's going to be part of it. Let's slide over. There it is. You can see, for a change, it's got no discount stickers on it, and the date is, in fact, in the future, so we're good. My pizza dough has been rising away in its little dish here, and then we've just got accoutrements. I feel like this is going to be a pretty basic one. I want to get all the stuff out right away because it'll take up a lot of room. So we'll wait. Let's see. So what we need to do, we are going to. It's going to be a standard pizza crust with hoisin sauce in place of tomato sauce. But I'm going to have to thin that out because hoisin sauce is too thick and sticky to use as a tomato sauce. It won't spread. Every once in a while, I buy stuff new. It happens. It does happen. My toppings, we're planning on the duck, which we're going to have to par cook beforehand because I want to render the fat off a little bit. I think we're going to put carrot and red onion on the pizza. We've got a cucumber. This is based on the British crispy hoisin duck wraps or rolls, which is not a Chinese thing. It's a British thing that they think is a Chinese thing. And what they do is it's a British pancake, so a crepe, with duck cooked till it's crispy, hoisin sauce, cucumber, carrot, onion, parsley, and red pepper. So I'm trying to incorporate all those things in there. The cucumber is not going to go on the pizza before we bake it because baked cucumber sounds terrible to me. It's also quite a wet ingredient, and I think it'll make a pizza go soggy. On the other hand, I think julienne carrot will be a nice addition. Red onion we already know works. The pizza salad is the Swedish style pizza salad. And I think we're going to include the cucumber in that. So it's going to be a cucumber and cabbage side salad with vinegar, oil, and some herbs. Because we want to get some of that fresh crunch in our dish. But if I put anything on the pizza, it's going to get baked out and not be fresh crunch. You with me? Makes sense? Oh yeah, and we have scallions. So cucumber, scallion, cabbage, carrot. That's right. Now, carrots look a little weird because they're getting a little sprouty. We dealt with that last time where I had to trim the sprouts off. They're still a little sprouty. I don't use carrots. Clearly, I don't use carrots enough. carrot. Hoisin rice vinegar. Now I just got a brand new rice vinegar, and I think we're almost out of the other one. We're not almost out. We got. I mean, we're low, but the bottle is enormous, so there's probably as much left in the bottle there as there is in the new little one. Yeah. So, how's everyone doing today? How's things? How's stuff? How's stuff and things? Let's see. Oregano is going to be a good one. That's time. Oregano. Sesame oil. Basil. Sure. We're doing a kind of a fusion. We're not even really doing a fusion. If I put basil in, that's going to be like our only Italian ingredient. Flamingos and ducks aren't the same thing. That would be like human being offended because you are eating an antelope. They're not even related. Pish posh. Okay, we're taking the sprouty thing off, and we are giving it a quick once over to get rid of the dry outer bit and those little rootlets. If you want, I can try to source some actual flamingo meat. Then we can talk. I imagine it doesn't taste very nice. But who knows? Them's fighting words. We haven't used. You know what we haven't used in a while? This horrifying thing. This is the out of focus. The julienne peeler. This thing is nightmarishly terrifying. But if I remember, it is also very effective at giving us strands. Look at that thing. Way more effective than I could do with a knife. Oop. It's yeah. Look at the way the blades stick out. Oh, it's yeah. This thing like actively scares me when I use it. The julienne peeler only works on people named Julian. should shout at Flamingo. Gotta remember to shout at you people. I'll shout. I'll shout. It's getting down to what we can actually get off of these. Unfortunately, the julienne's peeler doesn't go all the way. You always lose a little bit just because there's no way to get it 100%. Through these things, the little teeth make it ride up. So I hope that's enough to go around. I have more carrots. We could do more carrots. Jay! Oh my God. Jay! Jay, what are you doing? Jay, go home. What the heck? Thank you so much, Jay. 1 entire year. I can't believe it's been that long. It's, in fact, I refuse to believe it's been that long. You're lying. Thanks, Jay. Hey, I should shout out. I should shout out that one too. Oh, 12 seconds. Boo. Stupid shout out cooldowns. Yeah. Yeah. This one. I said this one. That one. We're doing the same thing to this one. I wanted a little more carrot, so. And I just said we don't use enough carrot in general. So we will use more carrot in general. Okay. I hate when it sticks because then I feel like I have to get in there and loosen it up where the blades are. You know, the part I don't want to touch. What? Carrot? Oop. No, no. More carrot. Carrot! Oof. Okay, that should be plenty of carrot, because I want some for the... I did drop one. Okay. Throw that away. I want some for the pizza topping, and I want some for the salad. Let's get a dish out. Isosceles. Hi. Hello. You'll never guess what we're going to do with this one. Pizza is traditionally served in a chalice. Done. Chalice. Don't challenge me to not have nonsense in my kitchen. I always have nonsense in my kitchen. Anyways, we want strands of cucumber as well. And I am rotating it to go around the sides because I don't want a lot of seeds in here. We're actually going to we're going to sacrifice the middle of the cucumber a bit on account of the seeds. There they are, the seeds. Because that's the point at which we stop getting nice strands. And cucumbers are also very, very cheap. So I'm not really fussed that I'm sacrificing part of my vegetable here. Flay the cucumber. Yes. Flay the cucumber. That's exactly what we're doing. Make example of it for the other vegetables so they stay in line. Fun fact, cucumber is a type of melon. You want me to pickle that bit? We could actually do that. If I cut it like this, I could do a quick pickle with the core bit. Pickle the rest of it. That's a possibility. It'd be a quick pickle. I'm not doing a full-on ferment pickle with it. In that case, I think it's a good idea, so we're going to do it. We're going to cut the rest of this into coins. We'll get that started right away. I should probably preheat my oven too, since we are making a pizza and the oven is currently ice cold. Colder than normal, if you believe it. make it hot. Make sure there's nothing in there. There's nothing in there. Make it hot. Okay. If I'm going to make a quick pickle, I'm going to grab a jar. We'll do this moderately fancy. Sometimes you just have to eat a whole cucumber. Okay, we don't need to julienne any more things, and I don't want this to harden, because if the stuff hardens in place on this little creature, it is impossible to clean. So we're actually going to grab a clean, empty bowl, throw it in the sink with some water, so I can get back to that guy later. Chalice out of the way. Let's get that chalice out of the way. Zelda! Oh, dang. Oh. There's too many of you people. Okay, 2 nice big pinches of salt. 2 nice big pinches of sugar. Well, duck doesn't take that long to cook, so we can't do the duck right away. Also, if you've never had British hoisin duck, it's a lot of vegetables. We're shaking it around. To get all those salt and sugars mashed into our cucumber. And we'll put in some rice vinegar. Pretty lot of rice vinegar. Cold water. I had you at hoisin and also duck and also pizza. Well, good. I hope this works. I asked ChatGPT if this would work, and it said yes. But I've also asked it other things that I know don't work, and it says yeah. So, you know, there's no telling. Okay, that's our quick pickling pickle cucumbers. Let's put those aside. We can get those later. Let's wipe this off. Oh no, it's my last paper towel. I use ChatGPT for anything. I wanted to ask it. I ran down. I gave it a. I tried to give it a very tone neutral description of current events, and I no doubt got some bias in there. But it told me that it sounds like democracy itself is in crisis, which is pretty extreme, you know. get this duck open. Anyways, what it is good at is compiling data quickly. And I asked it today about duck. Is it wrong? It's wrong about some things. That's the thing. I also just wanted to like screw with it a little bit, and I determined that it is kind of an idiot. So this is what a duck breast looks like when it's in a thingy. It comes out as a rectangle. We're taking our sharp knife and we're firmly, nope. No, we need I think we might need a sharper knife, and I do have a sharper knife. That's what we want. We need to score this through the fat layer. But we don't want to cut into the meat layer. We just want to score it through the fat and the skin. So the fat and the skin will start to render without just shrinking up on itself. There. Looks good. This is a new knife, by the way. Very, very sharp. Oh, I missed a few things. Bookwoman's late. Hi, Bookwoman. Welcome in. Zelda had leftover broccoli, dino nuggies in the air fryer. Sounds delish. Hard to go wrong with dino nuggies. All right, we're gonna take this guy. We're gonna oil the pan a little bit, just a tiny bit, to get it started. We don't need much. So just a little bit of oil, which I'm gonna spread around, because we'll get lots of fat out of the duck. We're gonna put the duck in the cold pan, skin side down. We're going to put that on the stove. And then we're going to immediately wash this and both knives, because they have raw poultry juice on them. Before I even turn the heat on, I'm going to do that. I'll be back over to finish catching up with you guys in a sec. That new knife is very sharp. Yeah. Okay? All right. All right? Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Sausage duck gumbo on Saturday. That sounds good. That sounds good. Oh. Oh, new paper towels. Turn my halo off. Goodbye, halo. Jay uses it at work in his law job. It takes the place of all of his clerks. Gotcha. So you're saying it's going to replace you soon, right? Okay, let's slide over. Where's my mouse? There's my mouse. Let's get rid of the dark. I forget to... There. Okay. The duck is up front with you guys here. We're going to turn it on medium. And we are going to get it rendering and crisping the skin. There should be enough fat between the olive oil that's in there, there's a little bit of olive oil that's in there, and the fat that renders out of the duck itself to get that side of it crispy. I don't know that we actually need to cook the flesh side because we're going to slice this and bake it with the pizza. So it's going to be partway cooked anyways. And you don't really want to overcook duck. It's better when it's on a blush, the blush side. So we might just do this to get the skin in a good condition. And then, because it's also not very thick. While that's getting started, I guess the next step is the cabbage for the pizza salad. Because we've got the cucumbers and the carrots. We're going to make a pizza salad. I can't assemble the pizza until the duck is ready. The pizza salad can also be made while we're baking. What's the next most important thing to do? Probably the sauce. It's probably going to be the sauce next. How much sauce do I have? Because hoisin duck obviously is sauced with hoisin, but hoisin is a thick, sticky sauce. And the one I've got is especially thick and sticky because it's not in the squeeze bottle, it's in the jar. Remind myself. Because I want to loosen it up a little bit, but I don't want to spoil the flavor because it's got that richness and that sweetness. So we're going to toss a couple of things in it to try to loosen it up a little bit. So just a dash of rice vinegar and a dash of sesame oil. You don't want it to be soupy. If it's soupy, we've gone too far and we'll have to re-thicken it. It needs to be the consistency of a tomato sauce, actually. Our duck has started to sizzle. I don't think the sesame oil is incorporating very well. It's still quite thick. We can add more to it. This is Tiny Whisk. You haven't seen Tiny Whisk? He used to be the star of the show, and then people lost interest. Now he's a washed-up child actor. He still sees a lot of use. He's my go-to for mixing sauces because a large whisk just doesn't really work for that. This is still a little bit too thick, and I want to thin it out just a touch more. But what do I put in it? A little bit more vinegar, I think, will still work. Let me taste it. Yeah. The sesame oil is really nice in there. A bit more vinegar. Oop, our duck is doing something. If we come over here, the skin has contracted on the other side of this guy. He's formed more of a dome than a cube. Let's take a peek at how he's doing. He's very raw under there. He looks good. He's hard to grab. I just cooked the top side a little bit. We're going to let it keep going. I turned the heat down just a little bit. We're going to let it keep going on the bottom, see if we can't get that bottom to be like a crispy brown. I don't mind that I seared this side a little bit. Oops. Mix this thoroughly. Yeah, oh, it's... Ooh, that might have actually been slightly too... No? No, I think it's still thick enough. Got much more of a bite to it, which I quite like. Which is also good because I think we're gonna... This is gonna be fattier than a typical hoisin duck anyways. So I think having this be a little bit more acidic is beneficial. I've forgotten more about cooking duck than you know right now. Duck's not hard to cook. The danger usually with cooking duck is that you'll overcook it. These little it's a little pricier per pound than chicken, but these little guys are not too bad. Aha! See, that's what I was looking for. Like a nice sort of browned crisp, and then the crosshatch we cut in it has prevented it from just like curling in on itself. So I think if we turn that off and let it run itself through the remaining heat, that'll be what I'm looking for. Because again, I'm looking for it to be undercooked at this stage so that when I put it on the pizza, it won't be overcooked too badly in the baking. So that's good. Duck. We need onions. We need specifically red onions. Do I have a big red onion? I've got a lot of medium and small red onions. I mean, it's going to end up overcooked. Like, if I put it on completely raw, then it probably wouldn't be overcooked, but we wouldn't get the fat rendered, and it would be an unpleasant eating experience unless I was able to shave it paper thin, which I don't have the capacity to do. Um, the meat slicer I've got doesn't have a very good blade and can't get those paper thin slices. Sometimes something's going to be overcooked. You just have to roll with it. That's part of cooking. Is not everything's going to be, not every element is necessarily going to be perfect, and you got to adapt to it. Bacon and black olives on the pizza. No, I'm actually sticking pretty like there are flavors we could play with, but I'm trying to stick very closely to the British Hoisin duck ingredients. And some of these I want sliced very thinly. There is some wiggle room, but I don't know that I would combine bacon and duck anyways. Duck is very fatty. Um, part of what you use duck, part of why you use duck, is because you want the fattiness, that fat layer. Now we've rendered it out so it won't be like chewy fat. It should be nice tender fat. But honestly, I would swap duck in for bacon in things. We'll keep that one handy in case I want any more red onion thin slices. That should be plenty of the thick ones. The thick ones are going to be a pizza topping. The thin ones are going to go in our salad. Likewise, I want to divide this because part of this is going to be a pizza topping and part of this is going to be in the salad. We're going to do the salad while the pizza is baking, although it needs to rest so that the cabbage can soften up a little bit. We might have some downtime. We might have a little downtime today. Okay, we're getting that duck out of that pan. We're going to let it rest up here so that it does not leak all of its juices as soon as we cut into it. It is undercooked right now, for sure. We've also got scallions. Question for you. Question for you, the audience. Scallions, an integral component of a hoisin duck roll. Do we try to put scallions on the pizza as a topping before it bakes, or do we reserve them for a fresh topping afterwards? Or both. We could do both. I'm not including scallions in our pizza salad. Ryu and Hot Mess both say, Ryu and Flamingo. I was just reading the first part of your name. Both say fresh. I'm tempted to take the white parts and throw them in as a baked topping, but I think even the white parts might not be sturdy enough to take baking. The green parts for sure. I think the green parts are like the same way you put basil on after you bake a pizza because baking the basil destroys it. I think we're going to do that. We should also... I might make up another batch of thinner hoisin, because this one's still got some thickness to it. An even thinner batch of hoisin as a topping drizzle, that might be fun. That wouldn't be hard to do in the middle of it baking, though. Okay, I guess it's decided. No scallions on the pizza before it goes. So normally, the most common hoisin that we see around these parts is the kind that comes in a bottle with a little squeeze cap. And I'm working with this kind, which is much thicker. So I'd have to make my own drizzle by thinning that out, probably with some more vinegar. And maybe even just some water to avoid making it too much. I am just sort of killing time right now. I'm letting this rest so that when I cut into it, it doesn't just juice everywhere. Ooh, you know what? This is a combination of olive oil and rendered duck fat. I could make a duck fat based topping with the hoisin. It's not enough fat to do mayo. It's not enough fat to make a duck fat mayo. Isosceles, I know you are pitching things because that you think are not going to work out. But I have seriously considered trying to make a duck fat and duck egg mayonnaise using duck for both parts of the mayo. I do not have enough duck fat to do that right now, but I do have duck eggs. If we topped it with mayo, it would be Kewpie, which I've also considered doing. I am going to use that olive oil and duck fat. I think we're going to make a drizzled topping with the olive oil and the duck fat. Okay. That's going to be that part's going to be winging it because I definitely wasn't thinking about that until just now. Koopy. How's this guy doing? He's very raw. He's very raw on the inside. Let's get out a slicer. You guys got the downward view for a sec there because I needed to move the screen to reach behind it where my slicer was. Let's see what this looks like if I start taking some pieces off of it. Honestly, it's not as raw as I thought. It's a little bit toward the top. If we'd cooked it, if we'd flipped it and let the top cook the way you're supposed to, this would, I think, be a perfect duck breast. Because that, obviously uneven. It's obviously still raw there. But this middle bit is that perfect blush that you're looking for when you cook a duck breast. So if we had just flipped it and let it cook out, we'd be on point. Unlike chicken, you don't usually want to cook duck well done. You want some of that red blush in the middle. And the secret they don't tell you is there's nothing special about duck that makes it salmonella safe in a way that chicken isn't. Other than, I guess, ducks aren't typically raised in as terrible of conditions in those as the duck mega farms. So they get less salmonella exposure. Um, so I suppose there is something different about them. It's the conditions in which they're raised. I'm going to scrape up all of these juicy drippings. For use over there. Glacier! Glacier! You're not first. Congratulations. No one can ever take that away from you. The being of not first. If we were very careful and raised chickens in clean conditions and like gave them vaccines and stuff, we could cook chicken less thoroughly and not be worried about it. That's what we did with pork. Like, it's already proven effective. Once upon a time, you couldn't eat undercooked pork safely because the risk of trichinella was so high. Because the hogs were being raised in such unclean, terrible conditions. And it was decided to fix that, and we fixed that. And now you can cook pork to a nice medium rare and not worry about getting pork worms. We just haven't done it with chicken. It would be a little harder to do with chicken, but it wouldn't be impossible if we really wanted to. The issue is it would require rethinking some of the basic elements. I have been meaning because there are actually, now I saved them because I'm afraid they might get deleted. There are guidelines for cooking chicken and any poultry to less than well done. It's more complex to explain how they work than you can accomplish with a blurb. So the short form is always cook it to 100 or 165 degrees, because at 165 degrees, bacteria just dies. There's no time frame, it just dies. But you know what? It starts dying before it gets to that temperature. So if you can get it at a lower temperature and hold it for long enough, and by long enough, some of the times you need to hold it are just like a minute. So I've been meaning to do an experiment with different donenesses of chicken that I have diligently cooked and held at those safe temperatures, just to see what the less cooked ones are like. No, raw chicken sounds terrible. But what if like medium well chicken is actually really good and we've just never tried it? Anyways, there's our deliberately undercooked duck, kind of raw. Hey, you know what? Just a few weeks ago, the U.S. FDA approved a vaccine for chickens against bird flu. We'll see if that lasts. But hey, um, so isosceles, I'm still cooking it to safety points. It's just that I'm using the full form table where it's time and temperature. Because it is a combination of time and temperature, and you can get away with lower temperatures if you do longer times. And by lower temperatures, I mean center temperatures. Anyways, this is a whole experiment. I'm not advocating this for anyone. This is an experiment I want to pull. We are going to make our pizza, which exactly. It's pasteurization, except I'm not doing it at pasteurization temperature because pasteurization temperature is very low. I've looked into how to pasteurize my own milk and eggs because of gestures broadly. It's doable, but it's fussy. Anyways, I want to do the experiment because I'm curious. Oh, if I'm doing pizza dough on the countertop, which I am, we need the flour tower, the tower of flour. Otherwise, I'll stick to the countertop. It's a Cheers pizza dough. I didn't make it from scratch, but it looks nice. Better than the last one I did from a Cheaters pizza dough. But yeah, nice and smooth. I gave it a workover when I got it out of its original package, because it did come in a package. And it's been rising for a couple hours. It's a little bit chilly in here. Judging me so hard. Hey, I've done it. I've done my own pizza dough. It's a thing. And you know what? I don't do it every time because it's kind of fussy. And I don't have a ton of practice, so I'm never like 100% confident on it. Anyways, we want to knock the big air bubbles out of this guy. Because if we don't, they will turn into balloons in the hot oven. Ooh. I've never asked a local pizza shop if they could just give me a ball of dough. I should do that. This one was $3, which is very affordable. And it's a fresh dough provided by the bakery at my local grocery store. But the grocery store doesn't actually make their own pizza from scratch like this. So it's not a dough that's being used on site. I'm gonna go with a knuckle over knuckle to try to stretch this guy out a little bit. So what I'm doing here is you can see my fists through the dough. I'm using the weight of the dough rather than the pin to stretch it out, and I'm keeping my fingertips all inward so that I don't accidentally poke through it. And that's our pan, so we've actually gone too big. I don't know. They make the dough and then they put it in a little plastic baggie and they sell it as pre-made pizza dough. Anyway, this is bigger than my pan. This is substantially larger than my pan. So maybe we... I don't even think that'll fit on the stone. What do you think? Not your circus, not your flying monkeys. I think I rolled it out a little bit too big. I'm going to... Ow! I'm going to burn my hand. Yeesh. Let's get some cold water on that before it turns into an actual burn. A screen. What do you mean by a screen? That's still too big. Like, I have a screen. I'm looking at you on a screen. A pizza screen? What's a pizza screen? I've never heard of such a thing. You're making stuff up. Like, you can make stuff up if you want, but you're making stuff up. That doesn't sound real. I don't. You're not going to get yeeted. It might give the rest of us asterisks. You can try it. It's not going to eat you. It's not going to. There's no auto bans for links. And apparently, I still have links enabled from last time we were trying to link something. My dough is too big. My dough is too big. Let me look what this is. Pizza. Oh. No, I don't have anything like that. I should get one. That sounds like a great idea. I should get a really big one. Should we trim off this dough? I mean, probably. I have run into issues where I have a limit on the size of pizzas because I can't find anything that does a pizza big enough. What if stuffed crust? What if? Because I got extra dough around the edges. What if we do a completely unplanned stuffed crust? What have I got that we could work into a stuffed crust? I have mozzarella, but the mozzarella is shredded because we were going to use it as a topping. I don't have, you know what I do have? You know what I do have? You know what I do have? Sale price pepper jack. A pepper jack stuffed crust? Well, now I have to do it. Okay, pizza, you're moving. Because now we have to cut cheese. Okay, well, we're pulling an audible. So I don't have a big block of mozzarella to use. For this, we want a thin knife. Three, four, 6 more of those, or 5 more of those. Pivoting, kinda. We're calling an audible. We're doing a thing. I don't know, we're cooking. Sometimes you just cook. Sometimes a man just has to cook. Here, I will bring the pizza back. We can do this right here with you guys instead of having to do it across the room. Apparently I miscounted, and I need another layer of cheese. Oop. A small one. This is what cooking is. This is peak quick cooking. You might not like it, but it's true. Okay. There's our cheese. Cheesed up. This isn't a massively spicy pepper jack. It's not nothing, but it's not massively spicy. I was going to add some chili flake to the middle. But now we're doing this. Okay, well, think I probably should curl that under to ensure that it holds in the bake. Chili crisp mixed with the hoisin. If I used Laogan Ma, then I don't think it would be too spicy. But I was planning on using crushed Thai chili as the flake element, and that would definitely be too. Well, maybe it wouldn't. Anyways, our crust is stuffed. There is literally no turning back now, unless I want to make something else, which is an option. We've done that before, I think, with just a like, this is a failure, let's pivot. That's happened. Stuffed with cucumber. That would be weird. Isosceles, I think that one might just be too weird. We need the back of a spoon. Well, I hope we made enough of this. I think I made enough of this. We want it to be a thin layer, so I should add stuffed crust to our title, because now it's stuffed crust. I might not have enough of this to go around. We might have to make a little dab more to ensure that we have enough of our sauce. Isosceles is always like that. It's because he's a monster. Okay. Now we have plenty to go around. Get tucked up in those edges. One thing I don't want are little bare patches where there's no sauce. We're not making a bare pizza today. We're making a duck pizza. Because I don't have a source for bear meat. If I did, we'd probably eat bear sometimes. Okay. Tasty. I have two cheeses. Two more cheeses, I should say. Cheese the first, a tiny bit of Oaxaca, queso Oaxaca that we're going to use up. Just a smidgen, just a small to get us started. A traditional element of any hoisin duck wrap, queso Oaxaca. You just can't do without it. Poop something new. You don't want to know what comes out the other end after the stuff I cook. I'm not going to go into great detail on that subject because I feel like it will be very off-putting. So, suffice to say, a couple of our experiments went wrong in ways that were not evident until later. Glacier's got some bear meat right there. Oh my. Oh my. I do need to do that. Compile recipes. I also need to like write down recipes. Carrot. Red onion. I even made a spot in the Discord for publishing recipes to try to cajole myself into actually putting recipes in there. And then I still haven't done it. It's a it's a thing. Okay, and then the duck is going to be exposed largely to the direct heat because I want to make sure that we don't have any raw bits left. And doing it this way means we can see it. Oh, I should have been doing these a little bit more regularly. I think they'll look better if I have them arranged so that they look like they were put there on purpose instead of scattered haphazardly. Okay, that I think is what we're doing for that. Any other elements you think we need before I put that in the oven? Any other elements we think we need before we put this in the oven? I'm going to give us a crushed red pepper. I'm going to flake it over the top. Crushed red pepper and some oregano. Ooh, what if what if some garlic? What if I added some garlic? I'm not going to add fresh garlic. I'm going to add just a dusting of garlic powder. There is already garlic in the hoisin, so we don't want to go too overboard with this. Okay, that's going in the oven. Oh, it's heavy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, it's heavy. It weighs a lot. Okay, it's in the oven on top of the pizza stone, which has been heating with the oven this whole time. Let's see what happens. I don't know how long it's supposed to bake because Lord even knows what it is. If we're lucky, it'll be edible at the end of this. I'm at 475, which I don't know what temperature that is in non-eagle units. Off the top of my head, don't know. Yeah, typically you want to cook fresh pizzas hotter, like raw doughs hotter, because you don't need them to thaw out. You just want them to set very quickly. 475 is about 246, so 245. Because we always round to the nearest 5 in both systems for some reason. Even though those are very different amounts of temperature, we still like to round to the nearest 5. Cabbage. A fresh, juicy cabbage. We are going to take the outermost leaf, the one that everyone in the store touched when they didn't want this specific cabbage. We're going to throw it away. Then we're going to start taking off leaves. I can already smell the pizza doing pizza things. So that's a sign. Don't know if it's a good sign. It's just a sign. By the way, if you've never had pizza salad, the Swedish creation of pizza salad, it's real good and very much an appropriate accompaniment to pizza that should be more normalized, I think. Not everything the Swedes do in food is a good idea. For example, peanuts and bananas on pizza. To keep us in the realm of pizza. I'm going to go with bad idea. That one's a pretty bad idea. We had to do quite a bit of work to make that one not awful. But the pizza salad that goes with the pizza, that's a winner. That's a winner. Hence, pizza salad. Okay, this guy goes in here. This guy gets salted. And then we massage the salt into all these parts and get them mixed up. Bookwoman does 14 to 17 minutes for fresh pizza. I'm going to peek at it periodically. That's going to be my my solution. We're massaging the salt in because we want it to soften, especially the cabbage, a bit. We don't want it to be really massively crunchy. We want it to be, and I am using green cabbage deliberately. I have a purple cabbage. We still have purple cabbage in there, but I think pizza salad looks better as green cabbage, and that is traditional as well. But massaging the salt forces the salt into more contact with the vegetables, which helps them soften up. It also lets you know if you have any little scratches in your hands because they hurt. It also can help contribute to little scratches in your hands because it's coarse. So that is the unfinished pizza salad. Ow, banged my head. To which I am adding dry oregano, which I believe is pretty typical. Some dried basil, which is not. And some black pep, which is also not. We'll let that hang out a little bit. cabbage does not need to be rebagged. The cabbage can just be a cabbage. This is how I don't know if anybody who's new here, this is how I always do use cabbage. I peel the leaves off of the head instead of cutting into it. Most recipes I see cut into the head of cabbage. Once you cut this thing, the cut surface starts to go off. If you just peel leaves off, the rest of it stays really, really well. I can keep one of these things. I can't remember the last time I threw out a head of cabbage because it had gone off. That's how long they will keep. You can go through it and never have to worry about the middle bit getting weird on you. So I buy a head of cabbage and I just peel leaves off as I need them. It is a little bit more awkward. There's a little bit of tedium to it, but it just keeps longer. So we're going to let this thing rest and let the salt work on it a little bit before we add the vinegar. We're not adding a ton of vinegar. This is not being pickled. We're essentially creating a very thin dressing on it of vinegar and a little bit of oil. Sauerkraut. I've never made my own sauerkraut, and it is something I would like to try at some point. I haven't done any fermenting, and that is something I would like to try at some point. We're going to jump over here. We're going to leave the pizza salad there. We're going to jump over to this. We're going to peek at our pizza real quick. Oh my God! Ooh, it's doing a thing. Ooh-wee, this is going to be a disaster. The thing is not burning. It is not burning. Nope, burning is not what I would describe as what it is doing. Erupting is what I would describe as what it is doing. It is erupting. Fun. That's a thing that is happening right now in my kitchen. Okay, well, I guess we're fun. I'm making a hoisin topping drizzle out of our drippings. I'm making a hoisin duck gravy in this pan as a pan sauce, which means we're cooking it, which means we have to bring it up to a point where it starts to bubble a little bit. And then we can thin it back down. And then we can thin it back down into a drizzle. So I'm not going to be super worried about ooh, this burner is smoking. There must be duck splatter on it. So I'm trusting the hoisin here to be a sufficient thickening agent. If it doesn't work, we'll add cornstarch. We might do that anyways because I don't think the fat is going to fully incorporate very well without something to bring it in. Actually, since we're not hot yet, we'll just add some flour. That's a thickening agent. And then I can thin it down as needed into a sauce. Hopefully. Definitely should have added the flour directly to the fat, not the hoisin mixture. Our sauce might be a fail already because of that. Wow, did that change the consistency? Wow, did that ruin the consistency? That's okay, I can thin it out. We're just going to add liquid to it until it thins out after this stage. So the mistake I made there was I didn't add the flour. What just happened? Chemistry happened. Exactly. Um, so the flour has caused the liquids, the flour has gelated and caused the liquids to seize. But it should just be a matter of adding liquid to use up that gelated starch. Starch gelation is how flour and cornstarch and any of those things that you use to thicken soups and sauces do their thickening. But see, we're back to it's a little gritty. It's not perfectly smooth, but it's back to being like saucy. And all I did was add a splash of water because there was just not enough liquid for the amount of flour. I'm just going to vigorously stir to make sure that those lumps don't reappear. And that should hopefully be our finished sauce right there. Anyways, yeah, that was the chemistry of sauces just right in front of you. Add starch, thing seizes. Add liquid, thing unseizes. Yeah, look at that. It's a little bit bitty, but it coats our spoon very nicely. It was boiling hot, so anything in the juices has been cleaned up. Oh, it's so tasty. Oh, you can really taste the duck. Wow, you can really taste the duck in that. Whoa, that's tasty. And that's just duck drippings. I suppose there's olive oil in there. Duck drippings, olive oil, and hoisin. And then a little bit of flour and water to get the consistency right. Hot dang. That was tasty. Glutenin and gliadin, two proteins in flour that, when in contact with the liquid, form gluten through coagulation. You also, when you're dealing with flour or any starch, you don't want the mistake I made was adding the flour directly to it after I added the sauce. There is a little bit of water. There's not much water, but there's a little bit of water in the drippings and a little bit of water in the hoisin. And you really don't want to hydrate your flour before you get it to gelate. you cook it in the fat to gelate it, and then once it's in that state, it forms a thickener in water. As opposed to if you add it directly to water, it tends to want to clump. Um, but in this case, there just wasn't enough to go around for the amount of flour I added. Whoa! Look at this thing! This pizza is crazy! this thing is nuts! What have I done? Okay. It's not quite ready yet. It's getting brown on top. Hopefully it's baked through by the time it's all browned on top. It's a thing. It is not behaving how I expected it to. It is a thing. It's going to be a lot cheesier than we were expecting. It's gonna need this. It's gonna need. We shouldn't have done the stuffed crust. The stuffed crust exploded and spilled into the middle part. So there's like cheese flows from the edges in toward the middle. Hopefully that isn't going to mean that it doesn't bake the crust. It's going to be a weird one. It's going to be a little bit of a weird one. That's our pizza salad. It's ready. The cabbage is very tender. I just added a dash of sesame oil and a dash of rice vinegar to it. It's gonna be a. Flamingo was worried about that and then decided to let it happen. Well, it happened. It's definitely a thing. Learning experience, I guess. Well, it's going to be coming out soon because the top is browning. So we should get our scallions sliced up. I want to go a really heavy bias on these guys. I'm soldiering forth. I'm not changing my plans at this stage. We're just dealing with whatever it becomes. Smells like pizza. It's going to be tasty. The only concern is that the crust now hopefully is able to bake through. We're going to plant these now, because I'm not going to use them. We're going to plant these and get more scallion tops. What was the inspiration for this meal? The inspiration for this meal was I was rummaging around in my freezer and saw that I had a duck breast, and I've been trying to pare down my freezer. So I grabbed that out and thawed it, and then I started thinking about what I could do with it. And while I was at the store brainstorming, I saw the pizza dough, and I was like, pizza! We could do pizza! Duck pizza! It is done. There's no more baking beyond this. If I bake any more, it will burn. So, it's coming out. It's ready to go. It's steaming up my glasses. I can't see. That's it. It actually looks better. Now that it's like baked through, it looks better. You can't see the lava flows coming in from the sides. You also can't see the carrots at all. So hey, it leveled itself out, I guess. It can't be baked anymore. It looks good. It is kind of thick, so we won't know for sure until it's also still bubbling in the middle, so it's probably kind of juicy, which has me slightly concerned. Doesn't have much of a jiggle to it, so that's probably just cheese oil separating in the middle. The bits of duck, which you can still see, are all brown, so they're baked, they're cooked. It is definitely very thick. It might have a soggy bottom. That is a danger. There's a car alarm going off. Is that my car? No. It's the neighbor's car. Hold on, I'm going to mute you guys real quick. Okay, well, the neighbor's parked about a half an inch away from my car, so that's not very nice of them. Okay, well, I guess it's pizza. We have the pizza salad. And we have the scallions. The scallions want to be a topping. No, it's going to be a pain in the ass tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to take a picture of this as is, because I'm afraid that stuff is just going to ooze out once I cut into it. It also needs a second to cool off. I know we want to go for we want a cheese pull. With the amount of cheese that's on this thing, we want to shoot for a cheese pull, but I don't want to run the risk of the entire pizza oozing into the middle. A second? I can wait a second. I'm finding my phone. A second to cool. I would like this to be taken a nice photo under my light over here. So we're going to do a photo as is. It may need many seconds. The bubbling in the middle has settled down. I did notice that. We're also getting it off the pizza stone, which will help it cool slightly faster. The pizza stone is a big thermal mass that it has to deal with. We will put the pizza stone back in the oven. There's a little bit of burned cheese on the pizza stone. I'll have to keep an eye on that. But we're gonna take a picture of this before I destroy it. Come on, there you go. Okay, pot holders. Keep setting down the pot holders, but everything is too hot, so I need the pot holders. Crossing, crossing. Okay, he's back. Get rid of that trivet. It's also going to be, we got to get him off of there to cut him, because the lip on the pan makes it very difficult to cut things. So, oh, he's loose. He just slides. He's loose on the pan, so that means all I need to do is get him over the edge. And we're golden. Now I hear engines out there. It's not that neighbor moving their car. That's going to be a pain in the ass tomorrow. I already said that, but I'm reiterating. Okay, here's our pizza. It looks pretty good. I didn't notice the soggy bottom, and there's no signs of soggy bottom on the pan, and it was very loose. Now I did put the pan directly on the hot pizza stone, so that should have crisped our bottom quite quickly. But I also noticed a little bit of a sag due to the weight. It's got your loose soggy bottom right here. I can there. I can prove it's not a soggy bottom. It's crusty on the bottom. And we're cutting it with our mezzaluna, which is just long enough to get this guy cut. So, moment of truth. Ooh. It's definitely juicy in the middle. It's definitely kind of very juicy in the middle. It smells really good. Oh, and the bottom crust is very crusty. Okay, she's cut. You know what? I got a new plate today. We're going to use it. It is a basic plate. It is a plain white plate with no blue rim. Yeah, these are really handy. I greatly prefer this kind of cutter over the wheelie cutter. The wheelie ones I think are good for like a very thin pizza. The big one like this, because you can, if you've got a thick pizza or a really crusty pizza, you can lean into it and really chop through it. And also it doesn't push toppings along the track. It's just because it's a down, because all the force is downward. It's pretty good. I found that one at a thrift store. I found everything at thrift stores. If you're new here, I find everything at thrift stores. Anyways, let's get served. Where did I put that spatula? The middle's a little flopped. The juices have decrusted the middle just a little bit, just a smidge. I'm going to take 2 non-consecutive pieces because I think they look nicer. Push that back a little bit. No, or push that way a little bit. We're going to decorate the plate with our pizza salad. And we're going to check on our pickles. Let's taste one, see how they're doing. They've still got a crunch to them, but they've got a lot of the sour. They've picked up quite a bit of the sourness, so they are there you go. There you go. And I feel like the cucumber needs something decorative. What's pizza salad? Knit. KP. May I call you Knit? May I call you KP? I'm putting a little bit of gochugaru on the cucumber because it gives it a little bit more visual interest. Oh yeah, and the hoisin duck fat sauce. We can't forget that. KP. Pizza salad is a Swedish thing. It's this. It's shredded cabbage, usually shredded cabbage and carrots, with a little bit of vinegar and a little bit of oil, salt, and oregano. It's pretty basic stuff. Um, it's served with pizza, hence pizza salad. Um, and it's like it's slightly oily, it's slightly tangy from the vinegar. It gives you this fresh crunch. The salt, you massage the salt into the vegetables so that they're softened. This stuff has thickened a bit. So we're going to do it with a spoon. It's just like it's like a really quick coleslaw without the creamy element. It's a really good accompaniment for pizza, which tends to be quite greasy. So it's sort of this fresh, vinegary thing. Let's take a picture of this, and then let's eat this damn thing. That's a good-looking plate. That's a good-looking plate of food, if I do say so myself. And I do. I just did. The hoisin duck fat gravy did thicken up a little bit more as it started to cool off, so it doesn't look as perfect as it did. Too late. I already pasted it. I've already sauced it. But we can taste one of these other ones if we decide we want to. Anyways, let's dive in. Let's see what this is actually like. It stands up. I can hold it by the crust. I can hold it by the crust and the tip droops but doesn't like fall off. Mmm. 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 Mm. Several positive mms and then a slight negative and the slight negative is the one I predicted way back when we were cooking the duck. The duck is slightly overcooked, which makes it slightly chewy. That's I anticipated that, I predicted that, and boy, it came true. It's not egregious, but a little bit. This thing is rich. This thing is rich. It's greasy. It's got a little spice to it. I can't remember where I put a little spice in it. Oh no, I crushed up a bird's eye chili and flaked it over the top. That's where the spice is coming from. It's just a little bit though. It's great. Just a kiss of it. The chewiness of the duck is very minor compared to the flavor. The crust is also a little on the chewy side, but that's good. I like a pizza crust that has some resistance to it. The bottom is very crisp. We're gonna work our way up so I can test out the stuffed crust part. It's rich and greasy, like a pizza. And this is exactly the kind of pizza that you want a pizza salad with, because a pizza salad is crunchy, a little bit sour, very fresh. Slightly oversalted. I definitely slightly oversalted the pizza salad, which I'm going to correct with a sprinkle of sugar. Is there any cheese left in the crust? There should be some. Possibly. Maybe. We're going to work our way up there and then we're going to find out. It's a good combination of flavors. I think do this without the stuffed crust, because the stuffed crust is, while fun, kind of a logistical problem. Stuffed crust is fun, but it's a little bit of a logistical problem. And our pizza, I think, was too small to stand up to that amount of stuffed crust. We're up on the end of it here, though. There is cheese in the crust, but there's not a ton of cheese in the crust. A good portion of it definitely leaked out. Because I can tell you that that part in there that looks kind of like undercooked dough, that's the cheese. Because this definitely does not have any undercooked dough in it. It has a good crunch, a good chew all the way through. So that little bit in there is 100% the cheese. If I look at the cut ends, there is definitely a hollow. So we've lost quite a lot of the cheese into the middle. Yeah, it leaked toward the middle. We didn't burst out the sides. We burst toward the middle. It's really got a good chew to it. The crust is very crusty. Let's taste these guys. I tasted one already, but that was so good that I'm going to do this. So that they can all have that. This gochujaro is like a slightly sweet pepper flake. It's not extremely hot. It's got a little bit of heat to it and a little bit of sweetness to it and some savoriness. We're going to let that infuse with the rest of those guys and make it all delicious. Having the pizza salad and the pickle with something that is this fatty, greasy is excellent. It helps balance the plate out so that I'm not just eating a big grease ball. Or rather, I am eating a big grease ball, but I can keep eating it because I have something on the acidic side to balance it out. That's the plan. As for the pizza salad itself, I shouldn't have added the second pinch of salt. I should have just trusted that the first pinch was going to be enough salt. It's a little on the salty side. And there's not much I could do at this stage. I could, before adding the dressing, I could have rinsed it to get some of the extra salt off. So I should have tasted it before dressing it just to see how salty it was. And then I could adjust at that point. So if you're making it at home, before you put the dressing on it, give it a taste just to check your salt levels to see if you want to give it a quick cold water rinse just to sort of reduce the salt if you happen to have added too much, because you do need to add some salt to get it to soften up. There's no way to avoid that, but Next time we make a pizza bowl shape. So lettuce, a lettuce salad on a pizza is also a thing. That's like on top. They bake the pizza and then they, with a tall crust like this, and then they fill the entire interior with lettuce. And I can't remember what where that comes from, but it's a thing I've seen, and it's weird. Anyways, I think we got a winner, except for some structural issues with our stuffed crust. I recall we attempted a stuffed crust once before and had structural issues then as well. Perhaps I just don't know how to make stuffed crust properly. But the flavors are great. The middle part of the pizza is excellent. Um, the stuffed crust got a little bit fat. It always will because you've stuffed it and then the cheese melts and kind of pushes it out even more. But the flavors are great. I didn't mention we didn't taste it without the duck gravy, so I am going to do that with this piece. Also, I should mention the cheese at the top that we can see, that's the cheese that leaked out the sides. Because you'll recall I put the cheese layer underneath the other toppings. Okay, it's less rich. That sauce definitely adds to the richness, and I think it works to the benefit of the overall plate. If I didn't have the pickle and the salad, it might be too rich. It also benefits in the fact that you can taste the duck in the sauce, in our gravy, really well, whereas you can't taste the duck itself quite as well from the pizza. So the duck gravy amps up the duckiness of our pizza, which I don't think I would have noticed if I hadn't taken a bite without. So I think the duck gravy is good for the plate. Double fold, stop it. We did have enough. I could have stretched it out even more and done like a full roll, double roll. We had enough dough. I think I could have managed that. I also probably should have taken thinner slices of cheese. Then I could have gotten them tucked in a little bit tighter. Yeah. When I added the flour to that gravy, boy, did it turn into a nightmare. But I had faith. I trusted that it was going to do what I thought it was going to do, and it did it. This time, we have definitely had situations where it goes the other way, and we have a sauce that splits and goes lumpy, and then I can't get the damn thing to come back together. Um, so I cooked that with confidence, and it worked out. And that's half the battle. Just confidently plow through until it works. There's a secret for you. When it did that, I also thought that I had ruined it. And I didn't let on that I thought that I had ruined it, and I just plowed right through the middle until it behaved. Um, oh. Anyways. Wow, 2.5. There's a reason the saucier reports to the chef directly. Yes, exactly. Sauces are a thing. Anyways, I want to get to this before it cools off any more than it already has. So I think we're going to wrap up and ship you guys out of here so I can enjoy my dinner. Thank you, Empanada. Let's see who's on. Oh, I missed a resub. Hold on. In my activity feed, Homer isn't even here. Oh, there it is. I completely missed you, Homer, in the shuffle. Oh, it was when I was doing the sauce. That's why I missed it. Thank you for the resub, Homer. Ryu has got our Discord link. Ryu is on top of stuff. Ryu, I gotta make you a official one of these days. You are all over it in here. Let's see who's on. Well, Chef J-Tay is on. He's been on for an hour. He's got a skillet of something going on. Gouda and salami stuffed chicken with apricot and parsnip soup is what his title says. That sounds very interesting and like a thing I would want to go see. So we might end up there. We bugged LaFay last week, so we don't need to bug LaFay again. As much as I love bugging LaFay. Mom is back on the Lego cat. We did Mom before. Yeah, I'm gonna take us over to Chef J-Tay. And we're gonna ask about this mess. He's just put something enormous. Oh, he's put in a homemade chicken stock block into his skillet. So, oh. Well, I mean, changing the title now won't change the title for the VOD. I will have to do that manually regardless. So at this point, I'm not going to bother changing the title. But let's go find out what this is all about. This title he's got here sounds very interesting. Thank you for showing up. Thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for the resubs. I just read off Homer's. We also got some more that I've already forgotten. Thank you. You're very memorable. That's why I forgot. I have a lot of knives to clean up today. Not as many pans as usual, but a lot of knives, which is interesting. I think it's going to be a really busy week, so I doubt I'm going to be able to find time to do anything else with you guys. And then next week is going to be, I will be on Monday, but then we're leaving on vacation. So I'll let you know more about that next week. But it's the countdown. Bye!